Today's video is sponsored by our good friends at Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Famous Faces and Funnies. Yes, we do ship countrywide. Also, check out our new friend, Docking Bay 94 Comics and Games, located in Boca Raton, Florida. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Codename YouTube Aero 2. Hi, I'm your presenter, Shabu RU. Well, Cobra Convergence has come and gone and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed, but man, it was a lot of work. I mean, there was plenty of long hours and deadlines and everything, and coordinating with other creators. It was so much fun, but it is definitely a labor of love. But now we're back going into our normal stuff, and we're also in the midst of con season. So there are so many conventions going on throughout our great country. It is really amazing. And what's amazing is that all the stuff that's coming out. So it's kind of cool, even if you can't go, to see what's coming out of these conventions and checking up on things. Now, as a Gen Xer, I wanted to raise the question to all the viewers, how do you feel about going to these cons? Do you feel like disconnected somewhat from, our era and what's currently going on? Or are you integrated well into everything that's going on? Because, there's a big push of retro, and which is awesome. So I guess that's something good to see, all the iconic, franchises getting new things coming out and getting new spins on them. But that's, sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad. We've seen a lot of reissues, reboots that have not, lived up to the standards of the original. But anyway, for this episode, we're going to talk about some comics that I feel that as a Gen Xer and anybody else out there that's looking to get back into comics may be our needs, because with all this SJW nonsense and with Marvel and DC putting out things that are more, politically correct, it's definitely had an adverse effect on titles. For example, if you follow a specific character, you're not getting that same character. You're getting something that's supposed to appeal to a larger demographic, the same ones that go see a particular movie. I think that's bad. So, that's my opinion, but that's not fair. That's why I haven't really focused much on DC or Marvel comics, and why I praise titles like Elvira and G.I. Joe and Vampira, is because they're not trying to make everybody happy. They're just writing titles for the fans, which gets a big thumbs up. So anyway, we're going to start off talking about a continuation of a book that I brought up last month. And that is, ironically, where is it? Spider-Man Symbiote number 2. So last month I talked about number 1, and remember, this is from the secret. Remember back in the day when we saw the Secret War toys from Mattel, and how that was so mind-blowing to see Spider-Man not in his iconic costume and donning the black suit. I remember as a little kid just drawn to that figure, too young to read the comics and know what the hell was going on in the Secret Wars. But with this series, we're actually going back to after Peter Parker comes back from the Secret Wars and resumes the role of Spider-Man wearing this new alien costume. Now, first, right off the bat, you got to get the Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire out of your head, because it's not an accurate portrayal of this Peter Parker post-Secret Wars. So you guys know that I very rarely continue on. I usually am one and done when I sample these comics, but I am loving this, and it's a Marvel, so it's kind of good that they're actually doing something, paying proper homage to a character during a specific time period. And if you see, this is a variant cover for number 2, and last month we did number 1. So I'm continuing on with this series, and it's been really good. Peter David continues taking us back in time. The art, the story, the entire package makes this definitely one that you should check out. Let's stay within the Spider-Man universe, and the next comic I pulled out that caught my attention is Black Cat number 1. So I know a little bit about the character, and as like you guys know, so it's kind of interesting to see her backstory and more in depth about the character. So I picked up issue number 1 just to sample it and see what it's like, and so far it's pretty good. So I highly recommend this comic as well. Just give it a try and see. We'll see if in issue number 2 it picks up, but for an intro beginning, I mean, with the character that is not, one of the main guys, but kind of like a C character getting a little bit of love. And, of course, I mean, her outfit is one of the reasons why you're going to get this comic anyway. So why not give it a go and see if you dig it. In this book, we go into Felicia Hardy's Black Cat world outside of Spider-Man, Marvel's answer to DC's Catwoman. So this gives her an opportunity to step out into the spotlight. The next book I picked up to sample is Robotech. Yes, Robotech has a comic coming out based on the Macross series, fresh off of Retroblastings' 3-part cover of the History of Robotech. I love Robotech. I mean, I think it's, besides Star Blazers, it is the franchise that set the bar for Japanese animation. And, of course, the whole Jetfire, Starfire thing from Transformers. But, I mean, that looks like Jetfire right there. But it's going to be interesting. This is coming from Titan Comics, which is based in the UK. So it's kind of cool to see another non-Marvel DC comic, putting their spin on this iconic franchise. And so far, I'm actually really surprised. Because as Retroblasting pointed out, the things that came out after the initial Macross series, as to continue the lore, has been but hopefully this comic does it justice. So it remains to be seen, but I think this is definitely worthy to pick up if you're a old school, old head guy like myself, just to see the adventures of Rick Hunter and Lisa Haynes and see what's going on. So give this one a try. Nothing new, as this title is a retelling of the iconic Macross series, an opportunity for this pioneer in anime to be discovered by a new generation. The next book I recommend, caught my eye right off the shelf. It's called Aero, and if you look, just the drawing reminds you of like video games. Like I have Xbox 360. You have the Tales of Vesperia. This type of artwork, animation, video game stuff. That's what the drawings remind me of. So I picked this up just because of the cover, and I don't know anything about the character, but she's kind of like Storm, but just allocated to wind as the only element that she can control. So again, the drawing and the artwork, I was drawn to it. It seems, so far it's a good story. It's not, I just don't know if it's like someone drawing or computer. That's what I'm confused about. So I definitely recommend you guys to give this a look-see and see if this catches your eye. It is a pretty good story. It's about a girl who's protecting Shanghai, and that's her city. And, she's leading a normal life, but at the same time, she has this incredible gift and ability with wind. And, I'm interested to see part 2 of it, to see how it further develops. But so far, this has been pretty interesting, and, we'll give it a go. I know nothing about this title, but the artwork itself caught my attention. Something new, different. It's a complete import from Japan. Worth checking out, especially if you're an anime fan. The last part of this video, I wanted to discuss, I've been a big supporter of BlackMajor's, and in the sense that I know he's a very controversial subject as far as customizing, and if you see my earlier video about BlackMajor with special guest HCC 788, we discussed the good, the bad, and the ugly about custom figures. I know BlackMajor personally, and I know his intentions are. And they are not to deceive or not to, be passed on as original stuff. But, there are people that take his product and use it inappropriately. But, I wanted to look at the second wave of his Snake Eyes figures. This one, I call it the Pittsburgh one because he looks like Pittsburgh Penguins or Steelers colors. So again, it's just here is the Hasbro original one in my collection. You definitely could feel the difference, not by much, but they are not. The butt stamp is different, and I just think that in my little world, Dr. Mindbender and Cobra, from all the times they captured Snake Eyes, built these clones of Snake Eyes to wreak havoc on G.I. Joe. So I love using them for that play feature. I think that's pretty cool. And again, the detail and just the colors of it are what's intriguing. So, I had the first wave that BlackMajor was kind enough to let me. I don't get them all. I just get maybe like 2 or 3 from each wave just to have. And, I think they're wonderfully done. And it's just amazing how the effort that must go into this, and the painting and everything. That's just the labor of love that goes involved into making one of these is what I truly marvel at. So once again, this is just to showcase the Wave 2 of the BlackMajor Snake Eyes clones, and I think that's pretty cool. And I wanted to say thank you for these wonderful additions to my collection. A closer look at the colors and details. This is definitely a work of art. Lastly, I wanted to thank Jason for his wonderful donation of hooking me up with missiles for my Devilfish. And as you see, Keelhaul, like version 2 on here, and with the Chuckles and the Night Force edition of Beachhead that was a Toys R Us exclusive. I believe it's 2002 that this came out. But I like this Beachhead. I think this is a pretty good, for a post vintage run. And then another attempt for Hasbro and Toys R Us to make a Night Force, not as popular as the original one, but still, I think this is a pretty good version of Beachhead in the dark colors. But thank you, Jason, for these missiles. That was very kind of you to donate to the channel, and we will definitely be using that hopefully in an upcoming video of covering comics. Well, again, that's this short video. Stay tuned. Next week we're gonna have to cover issue number 264. I mean, we're about a few weeks behind. I know 265 is already out, but because of Cobra Convergence, I was kind of late doing that. So stick around. We got 265 coming up, and hit that subscribe button, and thank you for watching. This is Shabu Argue for Codename New TV 2, signing off.